Good morning. I'm Robert White, Council Member at Large and Chair of the Committee on Housing. Today is Monday, July 13th, 2026, and we're meeting in room 120 of the John A. Wilson Building. The time is 10:05 a.m., and I'm calling to order this public roundtable. The purpose of today's roundtable is to consider 10 appointments to the Commission on Reentry and Returning Citizens Affairs proposed by the Mayor. PR 26-719, Tiffany Edmondson. PR 26-720, DeAnthony Campbell. PR 26-721, Ernest Hannibal. PR 26-722, Clarence Johnson. PR 26-724, Joe Houston Jr. PR 26-725, Lanice Hamilton. PR 26-726, Michael Plummer. PR 26-727, Melvin McLean, and PR 26-728, Tamika Bruce. As a note, PR 26-723, Celeste Santifer was withdrawn after the committee noticed this hearing, so that resolution will not be considered today. The Commission on Reentry and Returning Citizens Affairs plays a critical role in advising the mayor, the council, and the district and the director of the mayor's office on returning citizens affairs, also known as MORCA, on policies that improve outcomes for returning citizens and support residents who remain incarcerated. By law, the Commission is also responsible for issuing annual reports with recommendations, budget priorities, and legislative proposals to strengthen the district's reentry system. Returning citizens have long been one of my highest priorities. Throughout my time on the council, I have worked closely with returning citizens, advocates, MORCA, and this commission to remove barriers that make successful reentry more difficult than it should be. Together, this commission and the council under my leadership have accomplished meaningful reforms. We restored voting rights for incarcerated district residents and ensured eligible residents can register and vote while in custody through the Restore the Vote Amendment Act. We introduced and passed the Returning Citizens Opportunity to Succeed Amendment Act to strengthen reentry planning by requiring services to begin before release and improved access to identification cards, transportation, employment assistance, and housing supports. We expanded workforce opportunities through skilled trades and job training initiatives through the Access to Jobs Amendment Act, advanced protections against inaccurate criminal background reports that unfairly limit employment and housing opportunities through the Criminal Record Accuracy Assurance Act, and introduced the Helping Children Impacted by Parental Incarceration Amendment Act to better support children with incarcerated parents. That bill also passed. Beyond legislation, we have partnered with the Commission and MORCA to secure practical resources that directly improve people's lives. That work has included expanding access to birth certificates and identification vouchers, increasing transportation assistance for returning citizens, supporting MORCA Georgetown Paralegal Program to create pathways into legal careers, advocating for additional staffing and mental health resources within MORCA, and consistently fighting during the budget process to strengthen the district's reentry infrastructure. I don't pretend to be an expert on anyone else's lived experience. The reason we have a commission like this is because the people closest to these challenges are best positioned to identify what is working, what is not working, and where government must do better. Their expertise has made our policy stronger, more practical, and more responsive to the needs of returning citizens. Unfortunately, over the past several years, the Commission has struggled to fulfill its role envisioned by the law. It has experienced persistent vacancies, inconsistent meetings, limited agency participation, and has not consistently provided the recommendations and annual reports needed to guide policymakers. Currently, several of the Commission's 15 public voting seats remain vacant, and participation among the Commission's 14 ex officio members has been limited, with only a couple of agencies regularly engaging. These challenges matter because a strong, active commission benefits not only returning citizens, but the district as a whole. Effective reentry reduces recidivism, strengthens families, improves public safety, and helps ensure people returning home can become productive members of our community. Today's nominations present an opportunity to rebuild this commission into the strong advisory body it was intended to be. I hope today's nominees will help restore the consistent leadership, meaningful collaboration with district agencies, and thoughtful policy recommendations that continue moving the district forward. I also want to note, um, when I leave this seat at the end of December, you may not have on the council someone who's has a primary focus of helping and supporting returning citizens. So this commission and its members become even more urgent. Um, we will, before we start to hear from our commissioners, I want to note a couple of housekeeping items. You will have, oh, these weapons. Okay. You, you have a brief opportunity to testify, roughly 5 minutes each. I think we have a couple folks who are with us virtually or maybe with us virtually. For those folks, when you're called up to a panel, you'll drop out momentarily when we promote you to panelist, but you'll come back in and you'll be able to unmute and turn on your microphone. So with that, we will proceed to hearing from our nominees. All right, we'll start with our first four nominees: Tiffany Edmondson, Ernest Hannibal, Clarence Johnson, and Joe Houston Jr. You can come to the table here. All right, Michael Plummer. It is the practice of this committee to swear in government witnesses as nominees. You all are government witnesses, so I ask that you raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you are about to provide to the Committee on Housing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Excellent. Thank you very much. Thanks again for being with us. We'll go in the order that I stated. So we will start with Ernest Hannibal. Can you hit? Perfect.
All right. Good morning, Chairperson and members of the Commission. My name is Ernest Hannibal, and I'm honored to appear before you as Mayor Bowser's nominee to serve on the Commission on Reentry and Returning Citizens Affairs. I'm grateful for her confidence and for the opportunity to serve the district. After more than 30 years of active substance use, disorder, and incarceration, I surrendered myself to authorities in 2022 with a clear decision: my life had to change. Since returning to the community, I have committed to improving my own life and the lives of others, and that has been consistent and visible. I have lived through reentry, recovery, mental health, and housing instability. I know what it feels like when doors close because of past mistakes, and I know the power of someone choosing to see your potential beyond your past. Recovery taught me that transformation is possible. Reentry taught me that transformation requires opportunity. Those lessons guide both my personal journey and my professional work. As the founder of Good Works Grooming Company, a DC social-based enterprise, I work to restore dignity through partnerships that serve neighbors navigating reentry, recovery, mental health, and housing instability. I have strengthened that work through the Georgetown Pivot Program, certifications in addiction prevention and treatment, excuse me, psychological first aid, adverse childhood experiences awareness, and trauma-related disorders, the We Aspire program, and the CYEP Workforce Development Program, and my internship with Jubilee Housing Reentry Transitional Housing Program. The commission exists to advise the mayor and council on policies affecting returning citizens. I do not come as an outsider, as an outside observer. I come as someone who has navigated these systems personally, and I now work within them professionally. The commission, excuse me, One of the most persistent barriers I have witnessed and personally experienced is the Medicaid gap that returning citizens face upon release. Without immediate access to behavioral health and mental health, the risk of crisis increased dramatically. This is not abstract to me. I have felt that gap, I have fallen through that gap, and I have witnessed neighbors do the same. My work with Jubilee Housing has also shown how housing instability touches every part of reentry: employment, family reunification, behavioral health, and public safety. I understand both the systemic barriers and the cost and the human cost. If confirmed, I will bring something that cannot be credentialed, an authentic perspective. I have sat with many of the people on this commission, sir, excuse me, I have sat where many of the people this commission serves now sit. And that experience allows me to meet people where they are and advocate on solutions that are based in reality. My priorities will include advancing Medicaid continuity from the moment of release, strengthening transitional housing pathways informed by my work with Jubilee Housing, and ensuring that returning citizens' voices remain centered in all commission decisions. The district gave me a second chance. Serving on this commission is my opportunity to help ensure that a second chance is available to every returning citizen ready to reach for it. Thank you for the opportunity to testify before this committee. I will be happy to respond to any questions from you and the members of this committee.
Thank you very much. Clarence Johnson.
Good morning, Chairperson White, and the members of this committee. I am Clarence Johnson, and it is my pleasure to receive your consideration for my nomination to serve on the Commission on Reentry and Returning Citizens Affairs. I am grateful to the Mayor, Bowser, for nominating me, and I'm honored to have this opportunity to serve the residents of our district. I am a native Washingtonian and currently reside in Ward 8. I was incarcerated for 19 years, 4 months, and released from prison in October of 2011. Since, re- since returning home from prison nearly 14 years ago, I have worked diligently to rebuild my life through hard work, education, and service. I am currently enrolled in CC Prep Academy College, where I continue to pursue my educational goals. I have been employed by Costco's for the past 8 years, demonstrating my commitment to stability and personal growth. In addition, I'm the owner of my own photography business, which allows me to serve my community while building generational opportunities through entrepreneurship. My personal journey has given me a firsthand understanding of barriers returning citizens face after incarceration. I know what it means to overcome challenges related to employment, education, housing, and rebuilding relationship with families and, and the community. My success has been made possible through determination, support, and access to opportunities, and I believe every returning citizen deserves that same chance. Over the past 14 years, I have demonstrated that successful reentry is possible with the right support system. My lived experience combined with my commitment to continue education, steady employment, and business ownership has prepared me to serve on the Commission of Reentry and Returning Citizens Affairs. I believe my perspective will help the Commission develop practical recommendations and policies that remove barriers, reduce recidivism, strengthen families, and create opportunities for individuals returning home. If confirmed to serve on this commission, I will work to advocate for policies and programs that strengthen reentry services and support successful integration into our community. I look forward to helping families impacted by incarceration by connecting them with resources, promoting family reunification, and encouraging community partnerships that create lasting opportunities. I want you to know that I am committed to working alongside my fellow commissioners, community organizations, and district leaders to help remove barriers that prevent returning citizens from reaching their full potential. My goal is to use both my lived experience and professional experiences to help build safer, stronger communities while ensuring that every returning citizen has a fair opportunity to succeed and become a productive member of society. Again, I want to thank this committee for holding this hearing and Mayor Bowser for nomination to serve on this important commission. Thank you, Chairperson Mr. White, for the opportunity to testify before this committee, and I would be happy to respond to any questions and the members of the committee. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Joe Houston Jr., welcome. I was glad to see your name on this nomination list.
Good morning, Chairman Robert White, members of the committee, and distinguished guests. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. It is an honor to be before you as the nominee of the Commission of Reentry and Return to Citizen Affairs. My name is Joe Houston Jr. Many people know me throughout the district as Mr. WeFit, a name that has become associated with promoting health, wellness throughout communities. Behind that name, a simple mission to help people believe in themselves, build healthier and stronger lives. I am a lifelong Washingtonian, the founder and executive director of WeFit University, and most importantly, someone who understands the journey of reentry. As a young boy, I made decisions that led into incarceration. While I cannot change my past, I have committed my life to ensuring that my past is not limited to my future or anyone else. When I returned home, I made a promise to myself that I would dictate my life to service. Since then, I have worked alongside district agencies, nonprofit organizations, schools, and government and community leaders to create opportunities that improve health, strength, and empower people to reach their full potential. Through WeFit University, I have the privilege of serving youth, older adults, family, and returning citizens across the district. I have learned that transformation happens when people have access to opportunity, support, accountability, and community that believes they are capable of growth. That is why this commission matters. If confirmed, I will bring more lived experience. I will bring years of building partnerships, developing community programs, listening to residents, and working collaboratively to solve problems. I believe successful reentry requires strong employment opportunities, stable housing, access to physical and mental health care, mentorship, and pathways to long economic mobility. I also believe the voice of returning citizens should remain at the center of every policy discussion because those closest to the challenges often have the clearest understanding of what solutions will work. As a commissioner, I will approach this role with humility, integrity, and willingness to collaborate. I will listen carefully, respectfully with all my fellow commissioners and agency partners and remain focused on developing practical, measurable, and recommendations that improve the lives of returning citizens throughout the district. Every day I have the opportunity to encourage people to see possibilities instead of limitations. That same mindset is why I would bring to this that I will bring to this commission. I believe redemption is real, but I believe redemption must be matched with opportunity. Every returning citizen deserves the chance to rebuild, contribute, and thrive. It would be a privilege to serve the city that has given me so much and to help create a stronger future for returning citizens and the District of Columbia as a whole. Thank you again for your time, your consideration, your commitment to this important work. I respectfully ask for your favorable consideration of my nomination, and I look forward to answering any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Michael Plummer, welcome.
Good morning, Chairman White, members of the committee. I am Michael Mustafa Plummer, and it is my pleasure to receive your consideration for nomination to serve on the Commission for Reentry and Returning Citizen Affairs. I'm grateful to Muriel Bowser for nominating me and honored to have this opportunity to serve the residents of the district. I'm a beneficiary of IRAA legislation. I served 23 years in prison after originally receiving a 30-to-life sentence, and I was released in 2020 prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. Since my release, I have worked in several roles within the justice-involved sector, including youth mentorship, credible messenger, safe passage programs, and environmental sanitation. My transition back into the community has been challenging at times, but it has also been deeply rewarded. Through steady employment and service, I have worked to rebuild my life, support others affected by the justice system, and contribute positively to public safety and community well-being. If admitted to the Reentry Committee, I will use my lived experience and professional work to help shape practical, person-centered solutions that reduce recidivism and improve reintegration outcomes. I will use a collective effort in order to assist our returning citizens population with adequate resources that will help their transitional phases. Thank you, Chairman White, and for this opportunity to testify before this committee, and I will be happy to respond to questions from you and the members of the committee, excuse me.
Thank you all very much. Thank you again for your willingness to serve and putting yourself forward for these positions. I want to reemphasize something I touched on in my opening. Um, Supporting returning citizens and incarcerated residents is a priority of mine. It's not the priority of every or most elected officials. And so we have been able, working together, sometimes with the commission, sometimes with other individual groups of returning citizens, we've been able to transform the landscape for returning citizens in DC. But my philosophy on life is once you reach the next rung of the ladder, it's time to move up to the next one. And so there's still a lot of work to do, as you all know better than I do. And serving on this commission makes you all really the leading voices on reentry and incarceration in this city. But what comes out of the commission is only what the commissioners put into it. So this is a very important time, and we need your voices and experiences. And not surprisingly at all, even just this first panel of 4 people shows how much experience and energy is in our returning citizen community here in DC. And so, if we use and harness that, we can continue to do some really incredible things that are going to change some of the things that you all have seen in your personal experiences that need to be changed. So you all are really the front line of this work, and I'm excited to have you here. First and foremost, commission can't operate if it doesn't reach a quorum. Are you committed to attending the monthly meetings of the commission?
I am.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. If you are not, please withdraw before we confirm you, because we need to be getting to work. Let me start with Ernest Hannibal. What would be maybe your top 1 or 2 goals on the commission if you're appointed?
Medicaid continuity is something that, like I said, I've lived that experience, and now that I serve the community, I see a lot of people falling through that same gap. Whether you're employed or not, if your mental health is not together, behavioral health, you're waiting through that gap. A lot of people fall through it. So that's my main objective, Medicaid continuity.
Excellent. Mr. Houston.
Definitely around wellness, but I would say this, career opportunities and entrepreneurship with organizations, and continue to try to build those partnerships with government agencies and other community organizations and employers.
Excellent. Mr. Plum, I missed Mr. Johnson. Sorry about that. I'm going in order. Mr. Johnson.
So one of my passions would be to try to get into the systems and speak to the youth,
Mhm.
and get them some real live just some experience from people that been through what they're going through, to get into the prison systems and try to speak to the youth as a whole, as a commission.
Yeah. Mr. Plummer.
I would say computer technology and so forth. I noticed that when a lot of returning citizens come home, that's a barrier for them. Just transitioning that phase from using an email to their phone. So just basically focusing on getting them reacclimated with that.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm gonna add, Mr. Johnson, I'm gonna ask you this one last because I think you're the only reappointment here.
Okay.
And I'll go in reverse order. I'll start with you, Mr. Plummer. What does the district do well in supporting successful reentry now, and where do you think we fall short the most?
I think that the resources are there, but I think the lack of knowledge of the resources and how to apply for them is lacking. When the returning citizens come home, like of course you got Morca and you got the community-based organizations. However, I think accessing some of these benefits is like a long run. People coming home from prison, you know, they don't have a lot of patience like that, and they get frustrated and discouraged. So I think that the process can be more smoother in accessing some of these benefits.
Perfect. Mr. Houston.
Yeah, I want to piggyback off my brother, Commissioner Plummer. I would say that the process is starting from the back. We have a lot of resources in the city. Like we have a plethora of resources, and it's just that gap in regards of like how can we make things simplified for returning citizens, and they won't seem overwhelmed when they coming home. And yes, that's a form of accountability. A person get acclimated, making sure they get their things back in order, but trying to find ways that we can make that. But I think the city do well with having opportunities for returning citizens.
Mr. Hannibal.
Yeah, I too think that the district does a excellent job in serving returning citizens. The one thing that I think the city could do better is collaborating through other agencies. A lot of things are fragmented, and not every agency is as responsive and engaged as others, which is something that Morca does well.
Excellent. On that point, I've the commissioners and the committee have been frustrated with the lack of engagement from our agencies, but I can't come down on them until the commission is meeting consistently. So, and a couple of you mentioned this idea of partnerships and sort of breaking down these silos. So I appreciate that. Now, Mr. Johnson, are you completing your first term on the commission? Remind me how many?
Oh no, maybe it's probably like 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've been around for a minute.
there we go. So, you always throw me because you look young to me. And but so you've been at this a little while. What's from your perspective? What do we do well in supporting reentry, and where do you think we have the most room to grow?
Well, I think personally, I think the first thing we gotta do is make sure we come to those meetings and collaborate with each other. So that's why I think we fell short at a little bit, not coming together and sticking together. And so I think some of the things we do well, like we got a partnership a little more with some of the agencies. That's what I think we need to do better. And we got to show up. So showing up is the first step, in my opinion. Like that's what I try to do most of the time is just to make sure I just be there and be present.
Um, if you're reconfirmed, which I suspect you will be, with so many new commissioners, we're really going to need your leadership and experience there to help guide the commission, because you know where the missteps are, where the hurdles are, where previous commissions have sort of gone astray. So we're going to need you in a big way there.
And I'm willing to step up to the plate.
I appreciate it. One of the things you don't have to answer this now, but one of the things I hope you all will think about before your confirmation, you all gave in your testimonies and responses so far some really important gaps that exist, like the Medicaid gap, partnerships, a number of other things, health and mental health. Um, you can't do everything at once. And so I think to start to think about partnerships is something I heard from multiple people, but start thinking about how, as a commission, you all will hone in on what are going to be, a couple of goals for the first year, because that's how you get everything done is prioritizing. But you all have to work together, because if you have 15 commissioners and then you got 15 priorities, that's a recipe for getting none of them done. But if you all can come together and say, this is the first thing or first 2 things we're going to tackle, and then we'll get to the next 2, I think you all will be rolling. And I want to make sure in my last months on the council, I'm able to give as much support as possible to keep that momentum going. Mr. Hannibal, your materials that you submitted for the hearing emphasize dignity as the entry point to lasting change. What would it look like for DC reentry programs to be more dignity centered in practice?
I would say to be more trauma informed in language, and to like really engage individuals, understand their stories, meet them where they are versus having a preconception of what success looks like
Mm.
to them. And engaging people in that way, I think you can really get the goals out of them and they can begin to practice agency and move forward in life.
I appreciate it. Mr. Johnson, what change or changes would make the commission more action oriented and accountable to returning citizens east of the river, based on your experience?
I would say we have to listen to our returning citizens and see what it is that they need first and foremost. I think, if you give a good ear to, someone that's just coming home and really listen to them and be there for them to support them, that kind of could take us a long way.
Mr. Houston, weightlifting or calisthenics?
Great question. Great question. Both, being a hybrid, being able to do both, man. Being able to do both.
I know the answer. I knew the answer because I follow you on social media. I'm just trying to get like you. On a more serious note, you're an entrepreneur, and so you know what I'm talking about in terms of prioritization and keep it moving, and you only get out what you put in. What outcomes should DC funded reentry programs track around wellness, stability, or long-term reintegration for us to know whether they're working well?
One, engagement, you know what I'm saying? Who we have an engagement with those things. And ask the question again about, you said about the wellness outcomes.
Yeah, so we fund a lot of
Yeah.
reentry programs.
Yeah.
How should we determine which ones are working and which ones aren't?
One, engagement, reassessing some of the people, the employers or whoever that we're working with, to make sure that they have the buy-in as a quality in regards of what they're giving, offering to our returning citizens. Because a lot of people do things, in regards of the dollar, and it really don't have like any heart or investment in it. They look at it as a trophy. And realizing that speaking from a person that was formerly employee and things like that. So I would say engagement is one of the key things, and also just reassessing all agencies and really looking at that buy-in. Is this really purposeful? Is the measurements really making sense? Are the people are being successful going through these things? Are they getting careers? Are they having stable housing? Is it sustainable and things like that? And
Appreciate that.
Mhm.
That's going to be important for us to do as well, because creating a program, funding a program is good, but we also need to know if it's working for the people it's meant to work for. Otherwise, we're just doing it for ourselves. Mr. Plummer, your experience is deeply connected to youth credible messenger work and violence prevention. I love that is in your resume, even though I think you've only been out about 6 years, and so you're already moving in the right direction. One of many examples of what the Ira brothers and sisters are doing, and one of the reasons, the examples of why that program is so important, even when it's under attack. Um, what should the commission, do you see a way for the commission to be engaged in the work of mentorship or credible messenger programs?
Yeah, I think it's vital. My colleague Joe, he used to be a credible messenger, and he transitioned to fitness and so forth. It's multifaceted though. So when we think about mentoring, we just thinking about lived experience though. But actually, it's like you're a life coach. And I think that it should be more awareness about these programs in the district. It's really not that much knowledge about it. Only few people know about it, such as yourself and, other council members. But I think it's vital for our community because everybody needs a mentor. I have a mentor,
Everybody.
right? And so I have several mentors. So no matter whether you 50 or you 10, I think everybody should have that person they can turn to for advice. So I think that it should be more invested into, and it should be promoted more.
Excellent. Excellent. Um, I think it's my last question. Mr. Hannibal, I think in your testimony, you you mentioned you do some reentry work now already. How do you avoid a conflict of interest between the work you do now and being a commissioner on a commissioner on reentry?
Well, Good Works Grooming Company is self-sustainable. So we have it built into the model that the work that we do is given back through a 15% allocation that we have built into the business model. So I'm not seeking any grants or anything from the government, just bootstrap and just, pulling my sleeves up and getting in the community.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I appreciate you all being with us today, and again, being willing to step up and serve in this capacity. So those are all the questions I have for you today, and thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Our next panel will be Melvin McLean, Tamika Bruce, and with us virtually, DeAnthony Campbell and Lanice Hamilton. All right, Melvin McLean, welcome. Thanks for being with us today, and you can begin. Oh, no, I swear in our witnesses, and including Mr. Campbell. So I ask that you raise your right hand as government witnesses. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you are about to provide to the Committee on Housing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you very much. Perfect. All right, Mr. McLean, you can begin your testimony.
Good morning, Chairperson White and distinguished members of the committee. My name is Melvin McLean, and it's a privilege to appear before you today as the mayor's nominee to serve on the Commission on Reentry and Return to Citizens Affairs. I am deeply grateful to Muriel Bowser for her confidence in me and honored to have the opportunity to be considered for this important role in service to the residents of the District of Columbia. I'm a lifelong resident of the District of Columbia, almost all of it in Ward 4, the best ward, but anyway. And my journey has been shaped by both personal and professional experience that have given me a unique understanding of the challenges facing returning citizens. Having experienced the criminal justice system firsthand, I understand the barriers that many returning citizens face when rebuilding their lives. I know what it means to seek employment, secure housing, rebuild relationships, and restore hope, which is probably most important. I've come to understand that that's probably most important, to restore your hope and confidence while overcoming the stigma associated with incarceration. Those experiences have given me not only empathy, but also a deep commitment to ensuring that others have access to meaningful opportunities and support. Professionally, I've dedicated much of my career to serving district residents. I worked for the District of Columbia Government and Human Resources for about 11 years, supporting workforce initiatives. And later on, I worked with a company called Housing Opportunities Unlimited, where I helped administer case management services for residents relocating from the Berry Farms and Searcy Quarter redevelopment communities, which entailed a lot of hands-on work with citizens that were their lives were being uprooted. So I had to, to really make them comforted in those times and give them services that they were in need of. And these experiences not only give me, excuse me, I'm sorry, through this work, I witnessed firsthand the importance of stable housing, coordinated services, and strong community partnerships in helping individuals and families achieve long-term success. Most recently, I graduated from the Georgetown University Pivot Program, an intensive business and workforce development program designed specifically for returning citizens. The Pivot program has transformed my life personally and professionally by strengthening my leadership skills, expanding my business knowledge, and allowing me to craft the business McPherson Delivery Enterprises, where I deliver same-day packages to businesses in the District of Columbia, well, the whole metropolitan area. It has also shown me what is possible when individuals are provided with education, mentorship, accountability, and opportunities to succeed. I believe my combination of lived experience, professional background, and educational training provides me with a balanced perspective that will allow me to make meaningful contributions to the commission. If confirmed, I will approach this responsibility with integrity, thoughtfulness, and a collaborative spirit. I am committed to listening to returning citizens, engaging community stakeholders, and making informed recommendations that improve access to housing, employment, education, behavioral health services, and other critical supports that promote successful reentry and long-term stability. For a long time, I didn't give any thought to the behavioral aspect. Being at Georgetown helped me realize that we all suffered trauma through incarceration. Somebody telling you, get over there, you don't even realize the kind of trauma that you face when you allow somebody to control your life. So I didn't really realize that until I was at Georgetown and the behavioral health services that they gave me there. I realized that I had PTSD too. So that's an important piece. And serving on this commission would be both an honor and a responsibility that I do not take lightly. I'm committed to helping ensure that returning citizens have meaningful opportunities to rebuild their lives and become productive, engaged members of our community. Currently, I'm working at Bread for the City doing workforce development. And when I started back in March. And what I realized is nobody was helping them on the back end. Like they go through these training programs, but there's nobody out there connected with the employers on a consistent basis to make sure that they have places to land when they finish these training programs. So that's what when I got there, I immediately started on that. I'll go to Costco's, Home Depot, and ask them, do they need forklift operators and all of that kind of stuff? Because I realized that was one of the lapses in services for people, return and just citizens at large. That they had these training programs, but nobody is engaged in making a soft landing for them on the back end. So that's what I've been doing at Bread for the City. Thank you. Thank you, Chairperson White and members of the committee for your time and consideration. And I appreciate the opportunity to testify for you today and will be pleased to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Tamika Bruce, welcome.
Good morning.
Could you hit that button on the base of your microphone? Perfect.
Good morning, Chairperson White and members of the committee. I'm Tamika Bruce, and it is my pleasure to receive your consideration for my nomination to serve on the Returning Citizens Commission. I am grateful to Muriel E. Bowser for nominating me, and I'm honored to have this opportunity to serve the residents of our district. As a returning citizen, I served 120 months in federal prison. On May 17, 2026, I celebrated 10 years of freedom, a milestone that represents not only my personal transformation, but also my commitment to helping others transform their lives. After returning home, I founded Face Love Cosmetic Artistry, a beauty business. While I enjoyed helping people feel beautiful on the outside, I realized my true purpose was much deeper. I felt called to help individuals like myself heal, grow, and recognize their worth from the inside out. In 2024, I began to serve as a credible messenger with the Court Services and Offender Supervision Agency. In this role, I mentored men and women under community supervision, participated in outreach and community events, and used my lived experience to encourage others to make positive life choices. I later joined the Alliance of Concerned Men, where I worked in DC public schools supporting young people through mentoring and conflict resolution. My work included serving students at Turner Elementary, my DC After School, Susan Middle School, and Kimball Elementary, helping youth develop healthier ways to resolve conflict and navigate life's challenges. Since November 2024, I have been employed with DJ Easy Street and Gemini as a part of Academy DC Reentry Initiative through programs based at C. Sosa, Southeast, and Northwest locations. I continue to mentor returning citizens, provide guidance, and help individuals successfully reintegrate into their communities. My journey has shown me that our past does not define our future. Today, I dedicate my life to being the kind of mentor and advocate that I once needed, using my experience to inspire hope, promote accountability, and help others believe that lasting change is possible. In my work supporting individuals with experiences similar to my own, I have discovered a common thread. Many children have been let down by nearly every adult they were taught to trust. I have found the same to be true for many of the justice impacted men and women I mentor through the Court Services and Offender Supervision Agency. Broken trust is often at the heart of the challenges they face. A trusted mentor to justice impacted youth, families, men, and women, I intentionally embrace what I call the auntie approach. I strive to create a relationship that feels like family while maintaining healthy professional boundaries. My goal is to communicate in a way that is culturally responsive and familiar, one that reflects how people naturally communicate with their families and communities. By doing so, I demonstrate that I understand not only the individual, but also the environment and experiences that have shaped them. I believe that meaningful relationships are built on connection. Just as in everyday life and on social media, people must know you, like you, and trust you before they are willing to be vulnerable and accept guidance. Trust cannot be demanded, it must be earned. That is why I lead with authenticity. I openly share my own journey, including the challenges of incarceration, reentry, and rebuilding my life while parenting after incarceration. My willingness to be transparent allows others to see the transformation is possible. By sharing both my struggles and my successes, I create a space where people feel seen, understood, and empowered to believe that they too can change the trajectory of their lives. Moving forward, my vision is to expand this work through my nonprofit organization, Lift the City Foundation, which addresses generational trauma, reentry challenges, and barriers that impact justice impacted families. My goal is to support mothers like me, children with incarcerated parents, and individuals navigating the challenges of reentry by helping families rebuild relationships through trauma-informed care, cultural competency, and effective communication strategies. I believe in the power of family preservation and reunification. Strong communities are built on the foundation of strong families. When a parent is removed from the home, the impact reaches far beyond the individual. It affects children, caregivers, and the entire community. When fathers are absent, mothers often carry an overwhelming burden. When mothers are removed, children are left to navigate life without the nurturing and stability they need. Through Lift the City Foundation, I am committed to creating pathways for healing, accountability, and restoration. My mission is to help families understand one another, rebuild trust, and create healthier environments where future generations can thrive. I know firsthand that transformation is possible. My purpose is to use my lived experience, my voice, and my dedication to serve and help families move from survival to strength. Thank you, Chairperson White, for the opportunity to testify before the committee. I will be happy to respond to questions from you and the members.
Thank you very much. And finally, for this panel, DeAnthony Campbell, welcome.
Good morning, Chairperson White, and members of the committee. First, I'm gonna apologize for my absence. I'm currently out of the country on vacation right now, but my name is DeAnthony Campbell. I'm honored to appear before you today regarding my nomination. First, I would like to thank Mayor Bowser for nominating me, and thank Chairperson White and the members of the committee for the consideration of my nomination. I am a Ward 8 resident, a father, and a returning citizen. I graduate of the Georgetown Pivot Program, and I also work in the public services, including the DC government. I currently serve as a community in my community through my internship at Martha's Table. My interest in serving on this commission is both personal and professional. As someone who recently returned home, I understand how difficult it can be to rebuild your life, support your family, and find meaningful employment and navigate different agencies and programs. I also understand the importance of accountability, preparation, education, mentorship, and having people who believe you can succeed. Returning citizens do not only need temporary assistance, they need a clear pathway towards long-term stability and clear independence. If confirmed, I will focus on three main priorities. First, I want to improve access to meaningful employment. Oh, I'm sorry. Uh, one second. My apologies.
No problem.
If confirmed, we'll focus on three main priorities. First, I want to improve access to meaningful employment, career training, professional licenses, entrepreneurship opportunities. Returning citizens should have the opportunity to build careers, not just accept any available job. Second, I want to improve coordination and accountability between DC agencies and community organizations. Returning citizens should not be sent from office to office without clear answers, follow-ups, or results. Third, I want to make sure returning citizens are directly involved in the decisions that affect them. I believe my lived experience, professional background, education, and the commitment to service will allow me to make a meaningful contribution to this commission. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'll make sure we are not holding you from vacation too long. But I appreciate you being with us. I do want to recognize Commissioner Maurice Tyree, who I see here at the hearing. Let me know if I miss anything, sir, in asking questions. um, so, um, Mr. Campbell ended your testimony with talking about your top goals on the commission, which is really helpful for me. And Mr. McLean and Ms. Bruce mentioned some places that you all would focus as well. I love hearing that at the beginning. You all also really gave some insights into what you believe the district does well and where we fall short. So let me start here. Mr. McLean, your case management work centered on housing transitions. What should the commission be looking at or working on to address housing instability for returning citizens?
Well, I did some research recently. District of Columbia is the fifth most expensive city in the country. And I know I know funds are limited, but a person facing that kind of basically like a two-bedroom apartment is $2,500 a month.
Yeah.
So it's gotta be we gotta work on trying to get some more subsidies, not just so that they can get assistance while they're working and they can have a place that's clean and stable and safe to live while they're working, because otherwise you don't want to throw returning citizens back into the same environment. So we gotta try to I don't know what the budgetary situation is, but we gotta try to do something to help them pay what they can afford. That's a big barrier, in this city because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
But like Mr. Campbell was saying, what goes along with that is meaningful employment. You need to make good money in this city to make it.
Yeah.
I recently heard an economist, urban economist, say that you got to be making $70,000 in DC to get the same benefits that you get not working
Yeah.
because of you got to be making,
Yeah.
and he broke it down
You got to
for
make $70,000 to be broke.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because if you make 70,000, you're gonna bring home about 54. $2,500 a month, that's $30,000 gone right there.
Yeah.
And then you talk about food, that's another 6,000. So it's got to be like Mr. Campbell was saying, we got to get them meaningful jobs and training, so that they can get stable career job. I was fortunate that the pivot program put me in a good position to get back into case management at Bread for the City. But DC is wonderful in terms, it is wonderful. When I was at Fort Dix, one of the supervisory case management, when Morka and C. Sosa and them came up there and talked about what services they were offering, he said, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
They don't get nothing in a lot of places. So I'm not here to criticize what's in place, but to try to enhance it, you know?
Yeah, the housing piece has been a tough one. I created the vouchers for returning citizens, but it's a drop in the bucket compared to the need. It's such an expensive thing. And when I got to the council, we didn't have the free ID program, the free birth certificate program. We didn't have the transportation program. We didn't have job specialists at Mork. I created all those things, hearing from returning citizens, but we still have a lot of gaps, and we've got to get the next generation of changes that are going to help people with these gaps. And also, in the time I've been on the council, Ms. Bruce, over the past decade, we've seen a sharp increase in the number of women and therefore mothers who are incarcerated. And you spoke a lot about family reunification, which is so important because in addition to the trauma that Mr. McLean mentioned for the person who was incarcerated, those children went through something as well. What should the district be looking to do to better support returning citizens or incarcerated people who are parents or caregivers?
I believe that there should be alternative sentencing for primary caregivers. That should be considered. I also believe that there should be reentry programs before they leave that are mandatory for like anger management, effective communication, just things that make a family able to express themselves to one another. Because at the heart of the families breaking apart is they're not communicating with each other. Some people feel left out or whatever. And so all families have trauma, all families have things. And so these things just need to be discussed. I feel like everything is a conversation.
Yeah. Mr. Campbell, you spoke about some of the things that you believe should be the top three priorities, and I agree with those. Of course, there are others that need to be considered as well. Around workforce access and occupational licensing, are there any specific barriers or opportunities that you see now that you think should be on the commission's radar?
Um, the current birds I see is just like not making folks aware of the opportunities that they have available. Like if it wasn't for my probation officer telling me about the pivot program, I would have never knew about it. So I just think we need more awareness of the programs that are currently holding weight and helping returning citizens be in the forefront. This more awareness of the programs.
Okay. Which we've heard from a couple other nominees as well. Um, Going back to what I harped on in the first panel, this commission is only as successful as its members and their participation. Are you all committed to attending the monthly meetings and doing the work in between?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm committed.
Excellent. And is there, I think this will be my last question, but I'm going to ask it to each of you. Um, how the commission is advisory, but it's also required to produce recommendations, report on community outreach, and review DC policies. How should the council measure whether the commission is doing its job well? I'll start with you, Mr. Campbell. How should the council measure whether the commission is doing its job well?
I think the council should measure if the commission is doing its job well by just by like uh the numbers of returning citizens coming home and getting the help that they need, and just the enhancing of career opportunities, and just the things we will put in place that to see that from one before we started it was here, now it's here. This I just say improvement in certain areas.
Ms. Bruce, how do you think the council should assess whether the commission is doing its job well? Could you turn on your mic, please?
My apologies. I think it should be assessed by each individual project, each thing that we, if commission decide to undertake. I believe that there should be like a checklist of what would make that program successful so that we could go back and say, hey, did we reach this goal, that goal, just create by project basis to ensure accountability and impact.
And Mr. McLean.
I think he should be held accountable by just producing tangible and concrete recommendations and proposals. Not just sit here and talk every month and don't recommend nothing or do the homework that's required. So we gotta do the homework that's required to make it. Also, I wanted to mention this real quick. I always said if I got a chance to speak out on this, that I would do so vociferously. DC has more people per capita in the federal system than any other city, and we don't have a halfway house. I was in Baltimore. I was pissed off.
Me too.
I was pissed off. I had because the Bureau of Prisons looks at Baltimore and DC as two homogeneous cities, and they ain't not. It's a whole different transportation system, work environment, everything. And you gotta catch the train all the way here just to receive services from Morca. I don't know what's going on with the halfway house, but this been too long.
It's been way too long. So I will say this, and this is one of the challenges for the commission. It's also been one of the challenges for me. There were 3 proposed sites for the halfway house, and every ward said, we need a halfway house, but just not here in our ward. And I refuse as an at-large member to ever oppose a site. So everywhere they say it's possible, I say I support it. The final site was in Ward 7. I got people who will never vote for me in Ward 7 because I supported that halfway house. Now, I've been beyond angry and frustrated. I was the most supportive person on this council with Core DC, which got that contract. They stopped returning my calls. They give me timelines and they blow through them. So I'm pissed too, Mr. McLean. And I drive by every once in a while to see what the progress is. They are finally starting to stack some things up. So I think that halfway house is going to open. But the core DC has got to rebuild trust. You don't burn the only person who stepped out to support you and then blow past the timeline as people are waiting. So yeah, we in the same boat, brother. But hopefully, we will be at a opening of that halfway house soon because it is desperately needed. I want to thank all of our nominees for being with us today. As we close, I just want to mention that if anyone is interested in keeping up with this committee's work and finding ways to get involved, please sign up at robertwhiteatlarge.com so we can be in touch with updates. And if you want to submit further testimony for this hearing, the record will be open until the close of business on Monday, July 27th. Anyone who is interested in submitting written testimony for the official record can do so through the council's hearing management system at lims, L-I-M-S dccouncil.gov, lims.dccouncil.gov/hearings. If you don't know how to access that, reach out to the Committee on Housing and we will assist. With that, the business before this committee is finished. The time is 11:11 a.m. and this roundtable is adjourned.